happen. I got the notification. We're live.
We are live.
We are live.
We are live.
Gosh, folks, this is crazy, but we're back.
Hold on.
Wait a minute. Are we back?
Well, we haven't gone live yet. We got 40 seconds.
That's okay, but they can hear us, right?
They can hear us.
That is a good thing.
I think people can hear us. I'm
So-
not 100% positive.
Here's what we need to find out. We need to find out. Hang on. If people are being able to see us. Are we live on Facebook?
We are not.
Why not?
Okay. Going live. We're live on Facebook as of now.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
We're back, dude.
We are back, man.
This
Back
is
like a bad show.
We've been
Right?
busy. I've been busy, man. Been improving some stuff.
Well-
Quality of sound and
video quality, audio quality, content quality.
and you're about to see it in 15 seconds.
In 15 seconds, folks, we
We're
are back.
I might be a little rusty, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a clean though since I've gone live. But we are back. Welcome to Almost Legal Podcast, episode number 93. We have revamped everything.
It only took 93 episodes to figure it out.
Well, I think a lot of the issue is because I was flying by the seat of my pants at the beginning, learning things, everything,
Right.
all at one time. I set it all up, and then when it comes down, I haven't done and touched or done anything with that. So when I went to go hook everything up, reinstall everything, I forgot how to do it all.
But just so he just completely forgot. But so everybody knows, we've redone the whole studio. We changed it around. It's going to be an opportunity to do a whole lot more in the studio.
So much more room for activities.
Activities like snow sledding and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know.
So were you disappointed?
Yeah, I was.
I mean, like really?
Yeah, I was.
Did you have to get up? You woke up that morning, and I know you weren't the only one because everybody got up and went, "Oh,
Son
dude,
of a
we don't have
bitch."
to go to work." And everybody walked in and went, "Crap!
Yeah, there's no
What do you
doubt.
mean no snow?"
And how many people, I want to know, tell me, how many people got the night before was like, you know what, I'll stay up a little bit. 'Cause they're
Right.
probably not going to go to work tomorrow.
Right? I started watching something at like 11:30 going, we're not going.
Yeah. I woke up and I was like, you son of a bitch.
My thing was I set the alarm for like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning going, I'm going to wake up and see if it's snowing. Boy, I could hear it. The rain. Okay?
See,
snow's typically quiet.
Look, I got two things out of that. Once, the lady I work next to mentioned that Jefferson County's canceled schools. And I jokingly was like, well, it's not going to happen then. But every time they canceled schools when I was in school, they literally just, the sunniest day on the planet. Like, It was beautiful. We went swimming at Mimi's. But another thing I got out of that, I need to switch professions, man. What other profession can you be wrong 70% of the time and still have a job? Imagine a surgeon. I think it's your leg.
Yeah,
60% of the time, it works all the time.
Right.
But the thing is, they don't even do anything. They read machines, and they're still wrong.
Well, I think that's something that people don't understand. Though. It's forecasting snow here in the South is a little different than it is like forecasting it up north or for that case, forecasting it in Miami. How would you like to live in Chicago right now?
No.
That would suck.
Minus 70 degrees.
Before I get off this, we're supposed to take, this is the science, if you're a science denier with global warming, they can't predict if it's going to snow in 13 hours, but we're supposed to believe that science has proven that in 10, 15, 20 years that those polar ice caps are going to melt and we're all going to die.
Right, and we can't get a forecast right for 2 inches of snow.
Okay, Bill Nye, suck my wee-wee.
So my thing is this, though, and if you think about it, they miss the snow forecast more than you would think. Really, I mean, down here they do.
Yeah, I think they just don't want another snowpocalypse.
I think that's part of it, and the other thing is maybe the bread manufacturers and the milk producers were running short, and they needed like a run.
Bottom comment. Sorry to interrupt.
So I feel like the grocery stores need a little boost in what's going on. So they breathe a hint of snow, and all of a sudden there's no bread, no milk.
Why is it milk? Because
that's my thing.
Have snow, power is most likely going to go out, and the milk's going to sour. So what good is the milk?
Well, if it's
cold
snowing,
outside, you can sit it outside, right?
Well, I get that point.
So what do you make with that?
Why not?
Is it a French toast thing?
I have no idea.
So why don't people get extra eggs?
I don't know what she's talking about. Oh, that must have been when we were pre-episode.
All right, so we're good.
Oh, pre-gaming.
Yeah.
Pre-gaming.
No, but yeah, I was gonna have this. I was gonna say the same thing. Why milk and bread? That
Right.
why not get like canned food or
Right,
beer?
something to go, right, because I don't know how long it's been because you guys weren't around. We went in '82, I believe it was. We went like 14 days without power. Now that's a time when you really need to, it's fun for the first couple of days, but after about the 10th day, it's not fun anymore. I mean, it's literally not fun. So that's my thing is why, bread and milk. Okay. How long do you really think 99% of the time, and it does snow here, how many days do you think it's going to last here?
2 days the most.
At the most, right? Okay. Even bread isn't going to go bad in 2 days. You could eat, even milk's not going to go bad in 2 days. But that's my curious thing. So I guess all the kids were disappointed. I saw on social media.
They still didn't go to school.
Well, they got to right. They didn't have to go to school, but it was funny because, and I don't know what people think was going to happen with 1 to 2 inches of snow, but I'm watching on social media and everybody's going in our local area. So where's everybody meeting to sled?
Did you see that?
First of all, who even owns a sled?
I know. Did you see where they said Alabama snowman? It was just mud rolled up.
Right?
How about this though? I think in like North Dakota and places like that, they're actually with all the wind chill and everything.
It's colder than it was in Siberia,
in Antarctica,
and the tip of K2.
Yeah, wherever. With the wind chill and everything, it was a -60.
That's insane.
Did y'all happen to see the video of the newsman who brought a T-shirt out and hung it up outside, and in less than 4 minutes, it was frozen solid like a rock?
Just from the moisture in the air.
Yes, frozen.
A T-shirt,
solid.
right?
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy. So, let's go ahead and jump into it. What's happening in sports? I heard there's a game coming up.
When?
I think it's a Sunday game.
Yeah, I heard about that. Who do you think's going to win?
I don't know. Who do you think should be in it?
The Patriots and the Rams, man.
Right? Yeah, that's right. I like the way you held your composure just then. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'll tell you, that's kind of funny. Speaking of the Patriots, did y'all hear the story about the little 10-year-old kid who won his science? He won a science fair by proving that Tom Brady was a cheater.
Right? I've yet to look at his experiment.
His stats showed basically they did a thing on deflating a ball. 2 things they found. Okay,
he talked to legit scientists. And
absolutely. He won the whole science fair. He legitimately figured out that it is two things they know for sure now. It is easier to throw a ball, and it's easier to catch it with it deflated.
I wouldn't say catch it.
No, they said so.
I wouldn't say throw it.
You would think not, but if your hands are huge like theirs are, it might be.
Well, my issue when I have it's by far easier to catch a less inflated ball. But when I go to throw it,
does it make your grip feel weird?
No, when I go to put something on it, my hand.
You hold it too long.
No, it goes into it.
Yeah.
And it just comes out wrong.
So what do you think happens this year? Like, do they extra check the balls? I mean, is that something we're going to see? Is there going to be like a ball checker on the sidelines?
I rewatched, the Super Bowl. I don't remember which number it was when Russell Wilson threw the interception in the end zone.
God.
Right.
Run the ball.
That one.
Right.
Apparently that was the year that Deflategate happened. So that year they were talking about at the game, they have like extra people checking the balls and stuff like that. See,
I wonder if that's going to happen this year. I'm going to look for the guy.
Probably.
I'm going to look for the guy or they'll have all the balls, because they have like I don't know how many they bring.
A bunch.
It's like 6 or 10 balls, game balls. Okay, and I think it's going to be cool. I think they're going to have them in this little container, so there's probably going to be an armed guy standing beside it. He said, "Don't touch my balls."
Well, I'm glad that we were going to buy tickets prior to the NFC Championship.
I saw a post where you were talking with your dad. He's like, "Oh, we were this close."
With the intentions of just selling them, right? Well, people are losing up to $600.
$600 per ticket.
Going down.
They on face value.
But I want you to think about it though, and I think, and it's not just, it's the same kind of thing as like everybody's talking about with like Alabama and Clemson. Are people just tired of seeing them there over and over and over again? I think a lot of that has to do with the market though, where they're from, and where with the game being in Atlanta. I mean, that's a decent distance. How many people truly traveled from Alabama to go to California?
I wouldn't think a lot.
Well, no, their fan bases. That's the issue. Oh. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. The fan, it's the fan, and they did some research, okay, and to find out where the fan bases are and all that. And surprisingly enough, there aren't a lot of fans in the Southeast that are Patriots fans.
Well, you got to think about this. It's kind of like in Alabama in the national championship this year. Been there, done that.
Right.
So they one. Two, the Rams fan base is pathetic because it's a new stadium. Or
Right.
I mean, new team.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know if y'all watched the NFC Championship.
Was there a game?
I think the Saints played the Rams.
So I'm going to throw this out there. One of the answers to the issue, and we'll talk a little bit about the issue in just a second. I like the best answer to the issue I saw was what they wanted to call the Gumbo Bowl.
The Gumbo Bowl?
Yeah, like just forget about the Super Bowl. Okay, let's go to New Orleans. Okay, have the Saints host whoever wants to come and play. Okay, and win or lose, both teams. Let's throw a party.
You see where all the New Orleans bars are going to show their Super Bowl victory instead of the current.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it would go over big though if you called it the Gumbo Bowl, and just any team that's willing to come play the Saints. And just like I said, win or lose, let's just throw a big party.
I like to see Alabama play.
Right? It'd be a big party, and no matter what, in New Orleans.
Well, look, unless you've lived under a rock over the past week or so, there was a controversial call. Actually, controversial is not even the right way to do it. You can't even be politically correct, right? That is everyone's stance.
Blown.
Well, look, I've seen weird technology to where I'm not saying this is legit, but I'm just saying, like, it kind of made me think, because if you're listening and you're a Saints fan, how many times do you think you've watched that play with Tommy Lee Lewis? Seriously, I've watched it. I don't even know how many times I've watched it. Every media, news, every sports channel, every sports analyst has played it and made a comment and commentated on it, right? Well, guess what? I'm leaving Walmart. I know I shouldn't be doing this while I'm driving, but I'm leaving Walmart 2 nights ago, and I've seen someone post something on Facebook, and it was that guy that was saying, okay, Saints fans, blah, blah, and he showed it should have been illegal hands to the face, holding, and the ball was tipped. And like I told you, actually, I don't think we actually went live when I was telling you. I don't think I've actually been live since that happened.
We haven't.
Well, I commented on how... Okay.
As a matter of fact, we haven't.
Okay, well, initially, what threw me off is when I saw the replay of the actual official right over there, and it looked like he was saying the ball was tipped. And I was like, how the hell is the ball tipped? And then the post-game interview with the cornerback that hit him, he said, I was out of position. I was beat, so I just took him out. I was expecting it to be a penalty, but I got up, and the ref said the ball was tipped. And that's the one thing that voids out pass interference. Well, anyway, this video that was posted kind of shows it being tipped. And I'm like, what the hell? No one else has seen this. And this is posted 2 weeks prior or 2 weeks
afterwards. See, I think
it's weird. No one's seen it. No one even commented.
There? And here's the thing. Would they put something? I mean, obviously, we know now that just about anything is video manipulated.
Oh, yeah. I never got into the technology of that. There's technology that's actually was a startup and got bought out by the government. They could make me right now. They could put me saying and doing something I never said or did. It's creepy.
Well, CGI technology is stunning, to be honest with you.
There is also technology where they can literally take something like live feed. Say you're sitting there or an object sitting there, just take it out clean as day and it's just not there.
Right.
I'm like, holy shit. I've seen it in action. The guy was testing. It was a trash can. He was filming a trash can and he was like, and then you just do this and just trash can
and the can's just gone.
And the ground under it's there and everything.
Right.
I was like, holy moly, Batman. It scared me.
It's like it works like a clone stamp. But here's the crazy part, okay? And this is the other thing. Why, if they were going to do something like that and put out a video like that and all of a sudden go, well, since everybody's going, it was so obvious that, nothing happened, blah, blah, blah. Now all of a sudden you see this video, okay? Is that to just quiet the general people?
Well, that's kind of why I brought it up. Like, what if it was fake? It's weird.
I would think that video would have been out immediately if it was actual.
Well, yeah, no, the reason that's the point of me saying how many times have you watched it? How many times has everyone else watched it? No one's brought that up.
We sat here and watched it literally probably 30 times, backing it up, going forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Okay, and we sat here and watched it over and over, and not one time did any of us go, "Oh, look, he tipped that ball,"
or if it was even in question.
Right, it was automatic going, "Oh, it's nowhere close."
And I'm not arguing. Like, it is what it is. Bad calls are made, but everyone, literally everyone, haters on the Saints and not, is saying that's a horrendous call. But no one's mentioned that until this YouTuber goes, "Hey, it should have been this, this, and this," and he said it clearly. Da-da-da.
It's obvious.
Like, man,
wait a minute, and that's when you start going, maybe he did touch it.
It is what it is.
So
Mandela effect.
Right. Well, interesting. We have a topic coming up that we're going to discuss.
I forgot to do the summary of what we're talking about.
It's okay.
Today,
we can talk about it now. We're going to talk a little bit about the Cern collider, and if you don't know what that is, take a minute to look it up.
Hadron Collider.
It's a Hadron Collider, and
CERN in general sketchy as hell.
Well, the whole thing is.
Or Hadron Colliders are sketchy as hell.
Absolutely.
You know who pushed one real bad? And there's rumor that we actually have one on U.S. soil.
Yeah, I've heard
Bush
that.
Senior.
Yeah, I've heard there's actually
hard push.
And it's Hadron, I believe, not Hydron.
Correct.
Hadron, my bad.
Correct.
Hadron Collider.
Correct. But that's something we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But before we get to that, let's talk about a little bit about what's trending and what's happening in the news. Brian,
weird transition.
Brian was talking a little bit earlier about the guy from Best Buy.
Yes.
And the employee from Best Buy, and this is where things get a little bit weird. The guy, there's an employee from Best Buy and a security guard, if I understand correctly, okay, who were just recently fired, okay, for chasing a guy that's shoplifting out of the store, okay, chasing him down and tackling him. Now, I want you to think about that, okay? How do you're trying to protect the company that you work for, okay, and you're going to get fired for that.
Is there any civil recourse?
Can you? As a loss prevention person, you're trained to not intervene. You can just kind of follow them around and annoy the shit out of them and let them know you're there.
Well, that's
like, hey, what you doing? You need help with anything?
Well, that's what we talked about earlier. I said, it's different. Like, you're in a convenience store now, and they actually train you and tell you, well, if anybody ever comes in here to rob anything, okay, just basically let them go. And like you said, would you like paper or plastic with that? Give them what they want. Okay, they have insurance to cover stuff like that, and I guess it would have to be a liability issue that would keep you from doing that. Now, for me personally, that's like me saying somebody's going to steal stuff out of the back of my truck when I'm on a job and I'm not going to do anything about it.
Exactly.
I make you this promise that's not happening.
Exactly.
I am all in it.
And you have a good point of that person who actually stole, if they get their brains beaten, they could have a lawsuit, but they shouldn't have been stealing in the first place.
Well, that's what gets me is that there's actually, and you hear about it, there's actually people out there who are the robbing criminal, okay, and they're turning around and suing the place that they're robbing because
winning.
Because they broke into the place, and while they were in there, they slipped on a wet floor, okay,
got shot,
and now they're going to turn around and sue them.
Yep.
Isn't that unbelievable?
It drives me drinking.
Drives me nuts. Okay. Here's a crazy story I heard about the other day, and this is for all you older young people living at home. There was a 26-year-old kid who was living at home, not sure why, but long story short, the guy comes home. His mom had been griping at him about cleaning up his room and this and that. He didn't do it. So the mom apparently, while he was gone to work one day, took it upon herself to go in and clean his room. So he gets home that afternoon and he says, "Hey, Mom, where's my mug? It's like a Yeti type mug." He said, "Where's my Yeti mug?" And the lady was like, "Well, I gave it away. You never use it."
I've heard about this.
I gave it away. So you understand what's coming, okay? So the guy went nuts, okay? Are you ready for this? Okay, he had just sold a car, okay? And he had $6,000 cash in his Yeti.
What?
And his mom gave it away to like a Goodwill place.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so not only is he pissed, okay, here's my thing. And of course, needless to say, nobody's come up with the money. Yeah. But here's my thing. The crazy part to this is, can you imagine? I got to ask you, what would you do? Okay, now you go into a Goodwill store, you buy this Yeti cup, you get home, okay, and there's $6,000 cash in it. Do you keep it?
Does
or
a
do you
bear
take
shit
it
in the
back?
woods?
Well, see, that would
I'm like, man, these
Right.
people are nice.
right,
Donating a car and $6,000. Oh man, I'd be so naive.
right. What do you mean there's 6,000? I mean,
Oh, that's so nice. They did that on purpose.
I think you're right. Way to justify it.
Yeah.
I think that was my initial reaction. Me too. Hell no, I'm not giving it back.
Now, if they would have asked,
No, but
I
I'm just
would've
saying.
done it.
So there's not a guilty thing. I want you to think about how would you feel though? You're the guy whose mom gives a cup away and it has $6,000 cash in it.
one, why is she giving the couple? That's a Yeti, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, like she just cleaned out his room. She says, "Well, I was just getting some stuff away." Well, first of all, if he's 26 years old living at home, he probably should have already cleaned up his room.
I'm trying.
Yeah, if he would have cleaned up his room, it wouldn't have
It
happened.
wouldn't have happened. Okay.
It gets back to the
Now
story.
here's the lesson that I take from that. Okay, don't put anything in a Yeti, any cash in a Yeti, and leave it in your room. Period. Hide it in a drawer somewhere and something big she's not going to give away. But I would absolutely lose it if I went in and said, "Hey, Mom, where's that cup?" "Oh, well, you never use it. I gave it away."
I never use it because my money's in there,
Right, because
bro.
I don't drink out of it, but it's a
Now,
bank.
see, I would have not. You can't spend $6,000 in a day.
I can.
And
Let me try.
And as a person with $6,000 in a cup, and you come home and it's not there, you're not going to wait. But
Well,
then
see, that's
you're
me.
going to find out. And if they call me and ask, say, "Hey, they said they left $6,000," and I'll be like, "Yeah, I got it."
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Okay, if you work in the store that got it, like if you were the Goodwill place that received the cup.
Oh,
I'm saying if you now after this
I thought you meant
happens,
the person that gets the car.
there's no card. No, the guy left the cash in a cup.
The cup, I mean. I don't know why I said car.
So my thing is like now you go into a store and it's already been turned. Okay, they just put it on the shelf and they put $3 on this Yeti cup.
Right, you're the consumer.
You're now the consumer. You get home after you buy that cup.
Oh,
And you open it up.
my
and there's
that's my
$6,000. He's like,
$6,000.
that's my $6,000.
That's my. I thought it was like donated and they gave it to somebody. Okay, no, that's my money.
You get home, right? I'm saying, but you don't feel guilty
Property is
about that.
9/10 of the law, my
Is that
friend,
how it
or
works?
whatever it's called.
I have to say, when I first heard the story, my first thing was, I just made $6,000.
Yep.
So, what do you think about? They say scientists could find the cure to cancer within a year.
Big Pharma wants that happen.
Well, I know. I'm
See-
surprised they even went public.
Well, that's the thing to me too. Is I'm surprised. And what's interesting is at this point, even though that story's come out, okay, you haven't heard anything from the other side.
Well, no. See, a couple years ago, they released something with this new thing, and it's very elementary in theory on the course of action that they did. This thing out of 13 mice, it was 98% effective of curing cancer. I saw the initial post, nothing else. It just died. So we'll see where this goes.
Right. We'll see if the story stays in the forefront of things and
Wonder
see if
why it died.
or if it's just put right. Well, that's what I'm just saying. See if this one just gets pushed under too.
You know what I want to get into? I don't know, not this episode, but the Seth Rich murder. A guy who leaked, that worked for the DNC, leaked to the WikiLeaks and got murdered.
Mm.
It wasn't a botched robbery.
He got
Right.
suicided.
Right. He got suicided, right?
No, he got murdered. It was a botched robbery.
Speaking of murder,
Even though his wallet,
Botched
watch.
robbery.
speaking of murders, I haven't started it yet. Okay. The Ted Bundy
Ted Bundy,
Yeah.
that
deal
is
on
big.
Netflix.
Everyone's blowing up on that. And I've seen the actual interviews and everything, and they have other documentary, obviously not as
Right.
well produced and have as much money in it, but
Well,
very
the-
interesting.
Well, the funny part I'm seeing is that there's, obviously they cast Zac Efron,
Mhm.
okay, and supposedly Ted Bundy was actually a good-looking man to start with, and
Well, I
that
think it was
kind of
more about his charisma and like
right. But I think it's funny. There's actually people out there that are like making comments and all watching this Ted Bundy thing, like they're into him.
Well, that's always been a thing.
Yeah, but I mean,
Even
don't-
Charles Manson, like
I mean,
apparently
he
he
had
was the
his own
same way.
following, there's no
even though
question.
he didn't kill anyone, but
not the best-looking guy.
you'd argue,
Charles?
you'd argue to say back in the past he wouldn't.
Well,
he
maybe
wasn't
so.
that bad.
Maybe in the 60s and 70s he was a
Before he was all
better-looking
doped
dude.
up and
Yeah.
put a swastika in between his eyes.
Maybe so.
My understanding was that the movie was going to have Zac Efron.
Yeah, it
but
is.
the series.
Oh,
the
is that what it is? Who's in the series?
Series, it's just the interviews.
Oh,
It's
it is
not-
just the interviews. So
yeah.
that's what I was trying to understand. So from what I understand on the series, then is that it's actually wasn't there a particular individual
Yeah.
that he agreed to do these interviews with, and it was only that person.
Well, he kind of became a prima donna. You know, he's like I said, a lot of serial killers, a lot of sociopaths, very manipulative, very smart, very bright.
Right.
He actually got his law degree and defended himself.
Bundy. Right.
He was his own, and by that, he has rights to certain things.
Oh,
So he
that's
started
kinda-
making
he
demands.
was smart early on. Then
He started making demands, wanted access to the weight room, more library time. He said he was sick of eating grilled cheese sandwiches and wanted more stuff or something like that because it's affecting his ability to defend his case.
So was his sentence a life sentence?
It was death. That's the whole point of this. He was doing this, and he would give tidbits of information. That's how it all started.
That's right. He was on death row.
He would call and say, "I'll give you something like this if you come," but it was back 2 days before his death row. So they'd put it off. He'd give him a little bit of tidbits of information, and then it would just kind of keep going. But the guy was brilliant. The guy that did the interviews because he knew he had a psychology degree. So he knew he wasn't going to give him anything. So he told him, if you were explain what happened. So he got him to talk in third person. He started oversharing something.
Oh, he got a little too into it and started giving more information than he probably should have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all this is actually it's actual real documentary footage. Then it's actually him interviewing.
It's kind of like that documentary they already had, but
only real.
Well, $1 million.
So does most and again I haven't watched it. Does most of the interviewing take place in prison?
Yeah.
So
he met with them for a long time.
That's crazy.
And he would give him stuff, and you start to see him unraveling because with people with that personality, when they start losing control, it blow up. So you can see it. You can see that he's losing control because he's given up. It's just crazy.
So obviously Bundy would have his own reason for doing this, but do you think that the guy that was doing the interviewing was it a psychological thing, or was this him saying, okay, I know I can make money off this?
It wasn't that either. I think he was kind of on his heels for years.
So it was a continuation.
Yeah, it was kind of like, Seven.
Right.
What's in the box?
Right. So it's really a continuation of what he had already been kind of watching what was going on, and he just got an opportunity. So why did Bundy select this particular guy?
I don't know.
I mean, because apparently, from what I understand, Bundy's the one that said, "Hey, this is the only guy that I'll talk to."
Don't know. Maybe he felt like he could manipulate him. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's no tell.
So, do you guys watch stuff on Netflix?
Oh yeah.
I don't really have time to watch TV, but
you don't really. But is it me, or are there like 1,000 shows about vampires?
Vampires are in. Well, they were in.
I know, but I mean, like, what is that?
I don't know. It's like is it a weird sexual fantasy?
Is that what it is?
I guess because they sexualize vampires a lot.
Constantly.
Yep, Taylor Lautner.
Yeah, True Blood.
Right?
He's a werewolf.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. But it seemed like it started like when Twilight came out. Before Twilight, the only thing we had ever heard about a vampire was Dracula, and he was like this. Even though he was like debonair and wore the nice suit and stuff. Okay, but like you said, now it's like it's everybody's fantasy to be bitten, I guess. I mean, for me, I'm not a big vampire fan. That's why I feel like half of everything I turn on now is nothing but vampires on Netflix. So
I don't know.
What are you watching on Netflix?
I've been watching a few that I've completed, so I'm kind of in the interim right now. I've finished Punisher season 2.
Gotcha.
Awesome. I have recently watched the Daredevil season 3. Which they're now kind of canceling. They're canceling a bunch of Marvel stuff for some reason. I don't know why.
That's weird.
Yes. And what else? There was one other one that was really good. I can't think of it. I won't prolong it, but I can't think.
It's a little intense to watch, but I watched one. I binged a series called The Last Kingdom, which is really good. If you're like a Game of Thrones type fan, it kind of fits in that same genre.
Yeah.
But Josh, you don't watch anything on Netflix? Do you ever have time to watch anything like that? Lucky you.
I don't remember the last time I turned on TV.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
Probably the NFC Championship was last time I watched TV.
I was going to say, I know you watch a lot of sports, though.
NFC Championship.
Other than that, but
That
I
was
mean,
the last time I turned on my TV.
well, you don't
Physically
count.
turn
You
on
don't
TV.
count like this.
I haven't looked. Even
You don't
at
really
TV.
look. You just listen.
Yeah.
You're a listener.
Yeah.
So obviously you listen to podcasts and stuff like that all day. Do you not? What do? You sit there and twiddle your thumbs?
I work and listen to.
You don't work.
I listen to YouTube.
Do you?
Documentaries, random stuff, interesting facts, interesting stuff. Kind of like Cern.
Kind of like Cern.
Oh wait, I think we're choppy. It could be our connection. I have to look at the output. But anyway, on the 28th marked the anniversary of the Challenger.
Oh, that's right.
Incident, which brings me to I guess you could say it's controversial, and by I guess that kind of seemed not very. Oh, I got another thing we got to bring up after that. Okay, this is a little bit controversial because people died, but it's really weird because can you go to that, please?
Don't know the hotkey. That's you.
There's no hotkey. Oh. I need to go to that scene, please. Screen share. Screen capture, whatever. Anyway.
All right.
Did they really die? That's the question. Wrong one. I don't remember which one it was.
Oops.
Not that one.
try not to do the Browns incident.
Yes.
Oops.
try.
Hold on. Okay. I got it. Okay. Oh, I don't have it up. No wonder.
No wonder.
All right. Now, did they die? That's the question. Did they die? This is the crew. I don't know why it looks like this, but it is what it is.
I would believe they did.
Okay.
I don't know why there would be a conspiracy as to why they didn't.
Right? That's what I want. That's what I'm thinking, right?
So what's the new thing that would lead you to believe that they didn't, or what are people saying that would lead you to believe that there's a possibility that they didn't die? I mean, does it have to do with something that's in this picture?
No. Okay. Oh, shit. All right, I'm struggling right now. Just kind of bear with me here. I'll put this together like in 1 second. So, okay. Guy on the left, he was the commander. He died, right? Here's a guy who's alive right now. Right now, he's a CEO of Cows and Trees. Didn't even change his name.
What the hell is Cows and Trees?
I don't know. It's a company. I don't know what it is.
I'm curious.
No, but seriously, take me serious and look at this. Same name. Pretty good resemblance.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Could be this many years down the road. I see
think
what
I've
you're saying.
seen some of this before where you're getting at.
Whatever, just listen.
Yes.
Here's another guy.
I've seen this.
Michael J. Smith. Once again, didn't even change his name. Like, keep in mind, this is a real person.
But doesn't everybody have that doppelganger?
With the same name? That's
Well, I see
two
what
right
you're
now.
saying.
That's two
I
of them.
see. Okay,
Don't
I'm
interrupt
with
me,
you.
just look. Commander pilot. Now, this one's a professor at whatever university that is, okay? This guy actually claims to be Ronald McNair's identical twin brother.
I've seen this before, and that's the same person. You can't deny it.
This guy, he's on there too. This is which is weird. You know, Asians all look alike, and they have pretty much all have the same last name. But still, once again, killer resemblance. And I'm leaving one out. I just realized it. There's another one. The mom. She has the same name, but changed her middle name to her maiden name. This is Judith Resnick, and this is Judith Rednick. Is it a coincidence that all of them have the doppelganger with the exact same name or a very similar name?
It's funny because when you said this earlier, you said, when I get done showing you this, you're going to go, And I actually do. And I'm actually sitting there going,
But then that makes you think, why fake it?
Yeah, what would be the point of that?
What would be the issue?
I mean, obviously, like we've talked about the moon landing conspiracy. There were plenty of reasons to fake that. You know, at the time it was about beating the Russians, the whole 9 yards. But what would be the point of faking? You know, it's one thing to fake success, okay, but why would you fake failure?
I don't know. Could it be We're gonna go on that. Like I said, we're in a different mindset right now. We're not saying this is fact. We're not saying this is real. We're not saying we think this. We're putting ourselves in that situation. So say it's the opposite of the moon landing, right? Think about it. Every president since how many years ago said we're gonna put a man back on the moon.
Right.
Nothing happens.
Right.
They just canceled another moon mission.
Just recently.
What if they needed the pressure and they just said, okay, here, boom, take this death.
And that'll buy us some time. But the problem
But then that gets into the thing where when you get all the footage, and we'll cover all this on another episode of it, the International Space Station being a farce and all the green screen and weird glitches and weird stuff that there's evidence where they're wheeling someone through command and you see an astronaut from what you would see from the feed with a green screen behind him. You see guys materialize around corners and stuff.
Don't get me wrong, okay? But one thing that is interesting, because we do
keep in mind, we're in that mindset.
I know, but
I'm not saying it's fact.
I know, but we do, like, every once in a while, we do see stuff and footage from the ISS, okay, where it's a weightless environment. And we know, as far as we know, the only way that we can recreate that now is nose diving in a plane, okay? Mm-hmm. But there are long, there's only so much time you can nose dive in a plane, okay? There's a lot of weightlessness stuff that you're seeing ISS. Of course,
there's cables and stuff.
Oh, you think that's what it is?
Well, there's actually one footage where it looks like there is.
It kind of looks fake?
No, it kind of looks like the guy grabs a cable.
Oh, like he's like,
you
ooh.
clearly see a cable. Right. Well, the guy does a backflip, and the guy next to him grabs behind him, and there's a little gap in his arm, and you literally see what looks like a cable.
He grabbed something.
Like I said, keep in your mindset.
Yeah, I know.
I'll show you footage and stuff on another episode.
But I have to say, though, this is one of the first things you pulled up where I instantly go, It is kind of interesting.
Well, it's too many coincidences at once. It's like we're talking about Hillary Clinton here.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, and it was interesting to you, you said something earlier, Brian, about when we were talking about it, why would they fake something like that, okay? And you said there's a possibility.
Outlandish, but yeah.
It sounds outlandish. So does that. Mm-hmm. Okay, yet we're sitting there looking at, like I said, everybody's got a doppelganger, okay? But with the same name, which is the crazy part.
That's just coincidence on top of coincidence, which cannot be coincidence.
Right. Okay. So as outlandish as that sounds, okay, it may be, like you said, what if they were trying to hide something about some extraterrestrial life, or I don't know.
I just can't wrap my head around that.
That's just, like I said, that's when I literally sitting here scratching my head going, that's very interesting.
And it shows if it is real.
So the question,
how lazy are they? They didn't even change their names.
Well, no. The question to me would be, if that's the case, then okay, were they on the Challenger to begin with?
I guess not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is obviously I would assume that that's something that could fly itself, more or less. I mean, it's not like there's somebody in there pushing a gas pedal and steering.
Well, if that's the case, they didn't have a destination, so no. You just blow the son of a bitch up.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's a big bottle rocket at that point.
Right?
So I guess they were in a separate command module.
No, they never even have to get up. There's not cameras showing them getting on the shuttle. There's cameras showing them going up.
Well, I thought they had views of them inside of the cockpits. Where I'm getting.
No. Do they?
No.
I thought they did.
No.
I may be wrong. Right.
That's movies.
I don't know whether they do or not.
They show them like walking up, waving.
But like you said, if that's the case, why they would be able to green screen that just like you're talking about.
Wait. Wasn't that the first flight where a non-astronaut was going up?
Yes. Is that maybe Sally Ride, the teacher?
The teacher.
Yeah.
That was the one with that was the one I left out. The one with the kids.
Right. So that's interesting.
Maybe
does she have a doppelganger with the name too?
Yes. I left her out.
So you've actually seen it though.
Yes.
So every last one of them that's on that flight.
Besides one. We couldn't find one.
That's weird.
And wait, hold on. Let me find it. Go back to that real quick.
All right. You're there.
Exit out of it. I'll just find it on here. Okay, get me off of it so no one sees me what I'm doing.
Don't need no Browns stuff up there.
Right. We're trying to not have the Cleveland Browns incident.
The top right guy is the only dude.
So I can go back now?
Yeah.
All right.
So there's the teacher. There's a teacher.
Oh, good. No porn came up.
This guy.
Yeah.
He's the only dude that they don't have.
He's the only guy. That's crazy.
So what was that, 5 out of 6?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
7.
6
Seven.
out of 7.
You went to Chelsea. It's okay. Math's not a strong suit.
2. Oh, I can't. All right.
6 out of 7 still. Very interesting.
Told you, man.
I have to do a little more research into that
weird.
now. Yeah, that's definitely
Of course,
weird.
if you Google it, I Googled it. I was having the conversation with Becca at dinner the other night. I Googled it, and I was like, I covered it, and I said, I will bet you this dinner and $100 that the first top story is Snopes saying false. I was like, what is it?
And was it?
Snopes saying false.
So did you get your dinner?
No. Well, yeah, she bought the dinner.
Did you get your $100?
Well, it was more of like, if I'm wrong, I pay you. If not, you don't have to do shit.
Oh,
and I
well,
just swallow my pride and go along with my day. It's one of those bets.
Right. I get a lot of those swallow
Yeah.
my pride bets. No doubt about that.
So let's get into Cern.
Shall we, or do you want to take a quick commercial break?
Take a quick commercial break. We're going to take a quick commercial break.
An inappropriate commercial break.
An inappropriate commercial break.
All right.
Maybe.
No, I was seeing which one's which.
Get ready for my sweetness. Ooh, it's about to come. It's about to come. It's about to come. Ooh, turn around. All over you.
Share the rainbow. Taste the rainbow.
And we're back.
We're back. A little bit of banned European commercials there. I don't know where the hell that came from. That was weird. Anyway, going back to Cern. Off that note, that's how we transition. We go into Skittles, Bukkake, and Cern. Anyway, Cern. If you're unfamiliar with Cern, which is weird because Cern is a scientific institute type deal, and they, like we said earlier, they have the Hadron Collider. Did I say that right that time? Okay. And if you aren't familiar with the Mandela effect, there's rumors that they caused that by the Hadron Collider. The Hadron Collider is basically a circle of tubes where they shoot charged particles at each other to kind of recreate the Big Bang and then contain that explosion in a man-made substructure to find out how the universe works. That's where we got the God particle, antimatter, all these other stuff.
Originally, okay, if I'm correct in this, understanding this, originally it was designed to help harness and process nuclear energy.
Yeah, the original one.
Well, it was originally designed, okay, on a much smaller scale, okay. But even back, what was in the 50s, I believe, was when it first started, okay. They were already crashing particles at almost the speed of light, okay.
Right.
So now they built one that's, I want to say it's 10 times the size.
Yes, and it to put things into scale, the magnets they use on this thing is roughly about 100 times the strength of the magnetic pull of Earth, the planet.
Now, just that alone should give you some concern.
Yes, and that's what scares me. One, there's plenty of a laundry list of physicists that are concerned with theories that when you're doing that, it's creating such a vast amount of electromagnetic energy that it could possibly, one, create black holes,
right?
Mini black holes. Some rumor that it's such a strong, because the theory of parallel universes is becoming more and more accepted.
Well, some people have called it
as fact.
What it creates is basically like a Stargate.
Right. They're saying and that's where the Mandela effect comes in. They're saying it's such a large amount of electromagnetic energy that it's pulling in tidbits of parallel universes to where they intertwine, and it's kind of the remnants of it's kind of like splashing into ours, and that's where there's like little tidbits of changes that happen that some people remember, some people don't.
Right.
Kind of like CERN, and there's a reason I didn't bring this up at first. CERN is where the internet was invented, but I remember it being invented by the military.
I thought it was invented by Al Gore.
Mandela effect.
Right?
Well, no, Al Gore is always, I remember that. He always claimed it, but I always remembered it being created for the military.
It was supposedly for the military.
Right.
But people also have to understand that are not familiar with CERN technology and all that. This is not a United States thing.
It's a Switzerland.
It's a Switzerland, but it's actually a worldwide deal.
It's a worldwide thing. And the weird thing is, with all these dangers and what they're doing, and there's scientists that have been on record saying, like, we don't know what the hell we're doing.
The other crazy part is if you go to their website, okay, this is what I found very interesting. If you go to their website, they're not denying any of this. Okay, they're outright telling you that they're trying to do all this crazy stuff and like open up a wormhole or a black hole.
A lot of people think that it's one satanic in nature.
Right.
The logo kind of looks like 666.
It kind of does.
And they think that they've actually are bringing in interdimensional demons. If like there's theories.
And their claim is that and this is how they're justifying a lot of this. They're simply saying, well, we're still here.
Yeah, well, guess what?
Nothing's happened yet.
It went from about 16 kilometers. What's a circumference?
Yeah.
Now it's roughly about 26. They want to quadruple the size. And by size means speed. By speed means
bigger
power.
bangs.
So basically, it's going to be 100 kilometers.
Correct.
Right. Now, is it built yet?
No.
It's in the process.
They contacted old Elon.
Oh, that's right.
And the
They
Boring Company.
The Boring Company. Hey, if you want to dig a big giant tunnel underground, they probably are the people to do it.
The scary part is on the lack of like a democratic process of allowing this to take place. Because you've got to go out of your way to find any information about CERN. Like it's not being told, it's not being said.
Right, it's kind
unless they discover something, no one's saying what they're doing. No one even knows. Half the people don't even know it exists. Kind of like Building 7 and 9/11. Most people don't even know about it.
Don't even know about right. Now, the crazy part, like I said, is, the fact that they're not denying anything. If you go and do the research, they're out there telling you, yeah, we're doing all this, okay? And it's supposedly, and this is another interesting thing, they're actually putting out feelers now for trying to get, in touch with some of the youngest and brightest minds out there to bring them on board just to see how crazy of a thought that these new kids with this crazy idea of technology, what they'll do. It's interesting because they were talking about the facility itself and it's been way ahead of like what we see in our regular, like they say the robotics in this place, they're all riding around on hoverboards and stuff like that. And they say it's been like that for 5, 6, 7 years. And the technology that they're using there that we're just now starting to see.
Yeah.
They're that far advanced in what they're using, like their robotics and stuff, to actually do all this stuff. But I think the thing that blows my mind is, they don't know they don't know what's going to happen. Okay,
they don't care either.
Well, that's the
what
thing
it seems
to me.
like.
I mean, I guess if you were working on this project, here's the other thing: who funds this?
Who funds anything? How do you like? I had that thought when you see all these people that are in like research labs, like a scientist. Like, how do you get money other than
Well,
teaching?
they get grants.
I know, but
UN maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Who's funding this?
The
thing?
UN.
It cannot be. It can't be cheap.
So I saw something about the Illuminati, and since they became mainstream and got public, they had to do something. So they rebranded as the UN. That's his camera. As the UN, as all these different people, they rebranded as that. So all the World Banking, the UN, all that are the people calling the shots, and that's your global elite, your reptilians, as some may say.
Alex Jones,
Yeah.
Right. But to me, it's crazy that, I mean, if you've ever taken a look at what's actually being the physical part of what's being done inside of this tube underground, I mean, just the technology behind that is absolutely stunning. And to do it, like you said, on such a large scale, the price tag has just got to be phenomenal.
Right.
And again, we know about it. We know it's out there. Again, who funds this? Do you think our government's putting money into it?
I don't. Yes.
I mean, here's the crazy part to me. Okay, I guess there's people sitting in there working in there putting this thing together, going, okay, today we're going to crash these two particles at X speed at the speed of light and see what happens. I guess their brain says, well, if something really goes wrong, ain't nobody gonna worry about it anyway.
When I first ran into this, it was a couple years ago, and I listened to people like physicists and people like that's theories and stuff, and like what could possibly happen. You know, everything that was going on, and then knowing about the Philadelphia experiment. Well, then after the Super Bowl where the Patriots came back 28-3, Netflix surprise launched the next part of the Cloverfield universe, which was the Cloverfield paradox.
Right.
And I told you to watch that.
It's hard to watch, though.
As the movie was going on, I was basically kind of predicting and telling Becca
what was going to happen.
And that was based off of this thing, CERN. It was a particle accelerator in the movie that exploded and blew and just mashed up a bunch of different universes. People were like,
here's the thing. Maybe it's already happened.
Maybe.
I mean, you know, you understand what I'm saying? Maybe it's already happening. And all those unexplained weird things that are happening, okay, in the world may be because of this. You know, all of a sudden we've got all these tsunamis. We've got ridiculous cold temperatures. We've got, you know, earthquakes happening just in multitudes of times that they weren't, okay? It's just, and volcanoes are erupting everywhere. The storms are getting stronger and stronger. I don't know. Maybe all this is... Maybe it's already happened.
Maybe it's the Tower of Babel.
So can you visit this place? Or is it that tight-knit? I mean, so it's like high security.
Well, I guess you could dig.
That'd be a long dig. Funny, though, because it is that tight of security and all around the place, it's interesting to me, too, that at one point I heard that they were, and this is, I think, in 2017, that people from India had put up a statue of their god.
No, that's not people in India. That's CERN.
Yeah.
Put Shiva, god,
and then people are coming at night to have these crazy worship sessions. And
oh, you talking about the ritual stuff?
Yes.
No, that was CERN presser.
So they did this themselves
with the weird demonic stuff. People wearing goats' heads and stuff.
Yes.
Yes, that was CERN.
And then,
CERN put that event on.
And then I heard that the people responsible for this have, quote, been dealt with.
Shut up.
Yeah, I'm just telling you.
We might be talking about two different things.
No.
I'm talking about a very extravagant dances and costume. Okay. No, yeah, that was CERN.
Out in front of the place.
CERN did that.
And people were gathering at night. That's the crazy thing to me.
It wasn't at night. It was the middle of the day. They had projector screens and everything.
Really?
You can't say that whoever did this we dealt with. Somehow they got on there, set up stages and projectors, and hired a choreographed dance crew.
Right. One person didn't do this.
Yes, shut up. It was CERN. It was CERN.
But
CERN. They had deep demonic undertones and like weird videos.
So you think like if you wanted to go to work there, or is that the kind of thing where they approach you, or if you're going to put in an application, they want to find out that you're kind of a loose cannon?
Well, no, you're just a scientist.
You're just a scientist, but you're willing to destroy the world for the sake of finding something out? I don't know.
Probably is same question as everything else.
It's like a cult.
Like if you want to believe that there's an elite pedophile network, how do they get sought out?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like NCAA. They're recruiting them.
Right.
Hey, I heard this guy raped four kids.
Right.
Oh, the other thing I was wanting to bring up. Okay. The New York ruling. Okay. I understand how one side is going to grab the tidbit of information that they don't like out of something.
Sure.
And them making abortion up to birth legal. Is that a one thing and a bigger thing? Or is that legitimately the one thing they were celebrating? Because I don't get what's the perk, or what's the good thing in vice versa, right?
And I guess to me this whole issue is, it doesn't really matter what side you're on. To me, it's a moral issue.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you how I stand on that. And this is, I'll probably ruffle some feathers with this, but, I think there's gray area in anything you do. There is nothing pretty much out there that's black and white. Okay. There's gray area in anything that you, especially something of
NFL
this
football
nature.
calls are black and white.
Oh, well, obviously. Okay. At least for the Saints fans, they are. But here's the thing. Okay. I don't believe that their ruling, surely the ruling in New York is not what it appears to be on the outside, okay? Surely that ruling has got some stipulations involved with it that says, this has got to only be if you're a rape victim or a victim of incest or you have a specific medical condition where you may or may not be able to live through it, But at the same time, I don't. Hopefully, that this is not something that says, okay, you know what? It's been 9 months, and now I'm having second thoughts. That's what gets me, and I guess I'll never understand. Of course, I have 2 kids, and I can't imagine, what my life would have been like. I think that's the thing and I think the thing that bothers me the most is that half the people out there that are screaming one way or the other about this don't even have kids, and I guess that to me is, it's like speaking on something that you really don't have any say so.
Yeah.
in.
My thing is, they just killed their one argument. What was their one argument on abortion? Oh, it's just a batch of cells.
Right.
Is it still a batch of cells when it comes out crying?
Well, that was the other thing to me is like if you here's the scenario, okay? You have a car accident, you get a DUI, you kill a woman who's pregnant.
You're murdered.
You're charged twice.
Yep. It doesn't matter how late or early.
That's the entire law system, though.
Right. Okay. But you're charged twice. Okay. And I guess and again, I feel like everything out there nowadays is manipulated to fit somebody's whatever their agenda may be, or however they want to, twist it and bend it to fit whatever they want to. I guess I don't know. This is one of those decisions that I cannot. And maybe it's just because it is we live in the South, where it's more of a conservative nature of most people down here. I can't imagine that ever happening down here.
Nothing.
But again, and I'll say
the
this,
least progressive state almost.
And I'll say this, like I said, nobody ever says I'm going to retire to New York.
Nobody.
Right. So when it's over, it's over. Nobody wants to move up north anyway. So, they can have it, and of course, I could say some cruel things about it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to hold my tongue and just say that, hopefully, here's the crazy part. You got that happening on one side, okay? And then on the flip side of that, you now have a push to bring Bible study back into some of the public schools,
Yep.
okay?
Trump is doing that, I believe.
He is. And again, to me, it's always been, it doesn't really matter what side you're on. You have to have some kind of moral compass in your life to be of a decent, just to be a decent human being. And I think that's where, and I hate to put this on, and I say your generation, it's not y'all's generation, okay? It's just people in general, okay? And I guess that's what's lost to me is that people don't have a moral compass, regardless of whether you have religion in your life or not. And it's just become such a norm to just say, okay, we'll just, it's almost like they want to be seen as lunatics or crazy or I don't know. It's just definitely different. So, but anyway, back to Cern for just a second, Josh. And another interesting thing that came out to me was they had one of the marketing geniuses or their top marketing people, April 1st being April Fool's Day of 2017, they put out a story that said that the Cern technologies were actually that they found a deal on Mars that supposedly was another collider or a gate.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So he puts this out, okay, and then 4 days later he goes, "Oh, we were just kidding.
Just kidding.
It was a joke. It was an
April Fool's.
An April Fool's joke. Okay,
Okay.
That's a pretty big deal.
What about this one? On
The
the
Post.
it might have been Mars too. This was April 1st. Google photoshopped or whatever, allegedly photoshopped a base on either the moon or the Mars. And people found it. Like, people, I guess, have time to look through the surface of Mars or the moon. I forgot which one it is. And they came out and said, oh, it's just, they didn't say anything about it. They kind of pulled a Kaepernick. Didn't really do anything until someone called them out on it. They go, oh, yeah, it was just April Fool's joke.
It just happens to be an April Fool's joke, right?
Yeah. But it's clearly a structure.
See, I wonder sometimes if they use that date to put information out there like that, just to see what the take's going to be on it.
Kind of like certain presidents that release stuff like on Friday afternoon.
Right, and then all of a sudden they go, oh, just kidding.
Oh, yeah, no, that didn't happen.
Well, that, yeah, or, you know, the reaction wasn't what they thought it was going to be.
The hell, I was high when I said that.
Right? Come on,
Think
Ricky.
first, you last. No. But yeah, this is probably, I'll have to check out the feed and everything, but it probably has a few things we got to work out, tweak out, because there's a lot of new things that I added on, a lot of quality up and quality down. I'll find that one out later. But yeah, tell me what you think. We're going to be doing a little bit more official stuff. We're going to be rebranding here, and that's what we're kind of shaping up towards.
Also, keep your eye out. We're going to put a couple questions out there a week to get some input and feedback from our listeners. Keep an eye out on Facebook. Keep an eye out everywhere. We're going to be throwing those questions out. We'd like to get some comments back from you people. We're going to try to get some additional guests on the show. We're going to come up with, we believe we got a new contest that's in the works.
Not really a contest, but a raffle, or am I out the loop?
No, I think you're in the loop. You're in the loop.
It was your idea.
It's the raffle. It's not really a contest.
We're working on a raffle. We'll let you know more about that coming up. But I think we've pretty much got everything ironed out, hopefully.
We'll find out.
We're about to.
We'll find out. But yeah. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed. I know it's been a while, and I'm sorry about that. But we're going to make it better. Rebranding. We're going to be bringing on better, more official guests and stuff. So be on the lookout. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. You can subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, any of your favorite podcast apps. Also, we're trying to grow a bigger presence on YouTube. So make sure you go hit that subscription button, hit the bell icon so you know when we go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And any other times a guest is free. You know, I have a pretty open schedule when it comes to guests. Yeah. And also, if you comment on YouTube, your comments will pop up, stuff like that. Yeah. So until then, please have a great week, and I'll see you later, wherever you are.
We're out.